beautiful beings. I have a very, very important video today. It's been really crazy. I mean, I'm not used to getting so much backlash at this point, especially from people who are in this community. And I think it's a beautiful experience. I will say that I felt reactionary to some of the comments that came through in the last two videos regarding the V and everything that's going on. And I checked in with myself to see why I felt so reactionary. And what it came down to for me was I really feel like I've been misinterpreted. And there's definitely an inner child aspect of myself that has been hurt in the past, especially in childhood, by feeling unheard, unseen, and just misunderstood. And I think that a lot of starseeds in general have an issue with feeling misunderstood. So that's kind of where my reaction came from. And I had to do a lot of work last night and this morning on neutralizing that reaction. But I have a couple of very, very, very clear statements about how I perceive the current situation and dynamic going on in the world. That being said, before I make these clear statements, I also want to mention that last night, myself, Natasha, and my friend Zach all got extremely psychically attacked, all of us. It was really intense. Sharma checked in. We had many, many reps attacking us last night, and even a man that each one of us felt and saw last night that actually came through a portal to attack us. I won't get into all of the attacks that happened last night, but I will say that in Nat's attack, basically what happened is every single person that she's ever known and loved ended up getting the virus, okay? And they all died. They all died. Now talk about targeting someone's love for other people and driving in this fear of you have to be fearful of this thing. It was just very interesting. It's like all of the psychic attacks that happened last night played upon our worst fears. And for me, it was about not being understood when I said that something was really wrong. And it was, it goes into a lot of detail. But I just want to mention that I think that we got psychically attacked because of this video that I'm doing today, because if I didn't feel strong enough, I wouldn't be doing this video. And I feel like all of that negativity last night was to try and take me off my path so that I didn't speak my truth today. So here it is. Take it or leave it. As always, take it or leave it. Here are some of my statements. I am not in fear of the V, but I do understand that it's dangerous. A lot of you think that I'm ignorant and think that I don't know that there's corruption, that there are agendas, that there are major, major conspiracies out there. Once again, I am not in fear of the V, but I do understand that it's dangerous. Just because I am not in fear of the V does not mean that I work for the dark side. Because a lot of you were saying that I've switched sides and all of a sudden I'm a puppet for the dark side. My view has not changed since day one on this. My view has not changed since day one on the V. And here's my understanding of all of it. Here is the sentence to sum it all up. My only belief related to this huge thing that we're all going through globally, collectively, is our vibrations are powerful enough to override any negative effects of any physical thing. That's it. That's what I believe. If you do not believe that you are an infinite fractal of Source who is powerful enough to override negative effects of the physical world, then this YouTube channel is not for you. There are so many other beautiful teachers and people and whistleblowers out there that are talking about how fucked up it is, how messed up society is, how dark the agendas are. That's for you. Those are for you. If you don't believe that you are powerful enough to override the negative effects of any physical thing, then you do not align with my core belief. And anytime I get backlash, I always check into where I'm at. What do I need to work on? How can I word things a different way? Why am I co-creating this experience in my reality in this moment? I checked in with my core belief that we are fractals of Source, that we are strong enough to override anything. I checked in on that, and I believe in that, and I am never going to waver on that belief. So it's interesting. When I teach in the past, years and years of teaching, that we are strong enough to raise the low vibrational frequency of alcohol when we want to drink a beer on a hot day, you guys are like, yeah, for sure, absolutely. Override the negative effects of alcohol with love and intention. When I say that we can override the negative effects of meat when you eat it with love and positivity and beautiful unconditional intention, you're like, yeah, we can do that. Same thing with EMFs, same thing with 5G, same thing with chemtrails, same thing with poison and chemicals in our water and our food and our air. When I say that we can override that with our vibration, with our perception, with our intention, everyone's on my side. Everyone agrees with that. But all of a sudden, things change when it comes to the V. Why is that? Ask yourself that. There's a negative reaction that you have to my understanding that we're powerful enough to override that. Is there fear within you? How does a core belief change from eating meat to taking the V? It's not. It doesn't change. They're both bad for you. They both have negative vibrational frequencies. I'm not denying the fact that the V is bad for us. Absolutely. There are lots of things that are bad for us. There are so many things that can give us cancer and kill us and lead us to addiction. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I believe that we, through a lot of work, are powerful enough to override those negative effects. That is my core belief. I am not changing that core belief. And if you do not align with that core belief, that's okay. But once again, there are so many other channels out there for you, if that is the case. And that's okay if we don't align anymore. That's okay if you don't resonate anymore. But this is what I've always believed in. Okay. You have the power to say no to the V or to transmute it. And for me, I'm leaving all of my options open. I'm not saying yes, and I'm not saying no. I'm just in the moment, understanding that no matter what happens, I am powerful enough to make any decision I want to make. I refuse to live my life in a cave. And guess what? I have this beautiful off-the-grid property that I could just cave out in for the rest of my life. But I refuse to do that. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. And no, that doesn't mean I'm going to line up and get the V anytime soon, because I don't want to. That's just my personal perspective and belief. But I mean, I'm not saying no to hanging out with family because they've had it, and I'm so in fear of the negative effects that it could have because they've had it. I'm not living my life. Actually, as a matter of fact, the only time I ever think about the V is when I'm on video like this with you guys. I don't funnel any of my energy into it at all, especially not negative energy, because I believe that our perception on this reality creates our physical dynamic. If I hated drinking water, and every time I thought about water, I hated drinking it, or had this hate or resentment or fire behind it, I'm creating disharmonic frequencies in the rest of my life, even when it's not related to water. Do you see what I mean? I'm not using my energy for resistance or fear or hate. A lot of you think that I am, well, some of you in the comments in this past week were saying that I was ignorant or that I was a puppet for the dark side. And I'm actually beyond that. And I want to actually talk about that. So let's talk about 3D, 4D, and 5D perceptions. We can all agree that the 3D people in the world, and there's no like, they're no better or worse, they're just where they are, because we all used to be there too. 3D people in the world are just ignorant. They're just on autopilot. They're just living their life. They're like, I'm a human, and today I'm going to answer my emails and get dressed and cook dinner and play with my kids. And that's great. And this is my life. We've all been there. That's 3D. 4D, okay, fourth dimension frequency, is polarity and conspiracy. You wake up from the ignorance, you wake up from the autopilot, and you're like, oh my God, did you know that the government is corrupt? Did you know that there's this agenda out there, that there's this new world order, that they're, conspiring against us? Did you know that they're putting poison in our food, in our air, in our water? That's fourth dimension frequency. Fifth dimension frequency is viewing everything objectively. I understand that sometimes I go into autopilot, and I understand that absolutely there are agendas at play. Absolutely there's a dark side, but there's also a light side. Yeah, there are entities and reptilians and shapeshifters, but yeah, there's also beautiful angels and high vibrational beings who are here to help us. 5D is raising your vibration beyond the ignorance and the autopilot, but also beyond the polarity and the conspiracy. So for you to say, oh, you're so ignorant, you don't understand how bad and corrupt it is, I get it. I totally understand how corrupt and bad it is. And you know what? 5 years ago, I would have been leading the charge. My whole YouTube channel would have been like, fuck the government, I can't believe they're doing this, let's picket, let's riot, let's sign a petition, let's, all my art from 5-10 years ago were like RFID chipped needles going into brains and gas masks and, eyes cut out because they're ignorant and blind. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me, I get it. But I've also grown beyond that. I'm not stuck in fighting, because the more we try and fight the matrix, the more we are feeding into the matrix. So, 3D, 4D, 5D. 3D people are like, the virus is going to kill me, so I have to take the V. That's 3D people. 4D people are, the V is going to kill me. 5D people are, death is an illusion. And I'm going to repeat that because it's really important. 3D people, the virus will kill me. 4D people, the V will kill me. 5D people, death is an illusion. And I'm just here. And that's what I feel like. I don't hold fear. And the amount of backlash and projection and hate that I received for not having fear was a lot this past week. It was a lot. But my opinion hasn't changed. I don't know why the vibration of some of you in this community has changed. And that worries me, right? Once again, we have this beautiful spiritual awakening community, but there is a bit of this energy that's getting stuck in the conspiracy, that's getting stuck within the agendas, that's getting stuck within the polarity. You're feeding the matrix. You're choosing a side, and you're hanging on to that side, and you're fighting for that side. But you're no better than the other side of things. Is your perception of what's happening in the world aiding to the collective consciousness or separating from the collective consciousness? Is it a low vibrational frequency or is it a high vibrational frequency? Your perception adds value or takes value away from connecting to infinite source, from connecting to unity. I choose to see the positive in all of this. And I think one day a lot of people will agree with me. And right now, I feel like we are in the middle of a huge shift. And it does concern me a little bit that there was so much backlash, just because that just means that there's a lot of fear. And I worry that there's beautiful, old soul, starseed conscious individuals who are holding that much fear, which means that, yeah, you might not be watching the mainstream news media, but you are definitely subscribed to some conspiracy. And I use that word lightly because I don't know what other word to use. I know that that's a word that's created to indoctrinate us to believe that, let's downplay people who are actually questioning things. I understand that. But ask yourself, am I going within to figure out what resonates with me? Or am I hanging on to information external to me? And I promise you, I guarantee that if you were to cut off all information external to you, and you were to sit in your heart space, and you were to feel the vibration that I have, that I try and give in every video, then you would know that my intentions are pure. You would know that. But if you're in doubt and you're disempowering yourself into other pieces of information and knowledge outside of yourself, then you actually don't know where you stand. You don't know who you are. So you are going to be confused. And you're not going to know where my intentions lie at all. So you're going to take something like me making a simple comment, take it to the next level, and think that I'm a puppet for the dark side and subscribing to something that isn't aligned to your fight. Okay. All right, just 2 more statements, and then we're going to close. The V is the true test. I'm going to repeat that. It's so important. This is what the GFL told me probably 2 months ago. The V is the true test. Not talking about the virus, talking about the V. But it's not the V itself. It is not even your decision to get the V or to not get the V. It's how you perceive it. This is the true 5D test. Are you rising your frequency above it? Or are you stuck fighting it? The V is the true test, but it has nothing to do with the V at all. It has everything to do with your perception around it. You give the V meaning, and you are powerful enough to transmute it. That is where I stand. We are all fractals of Source. We all have infinite connections. I believe you can override things like cancer, 5G technology, low vibrational frequencies of meat, food, alcohol. Doesn't mean that you have to drink. Doesn't mean that you have to overindulge. It's just my belief. And these are just examples of how you can override things with your vibration. Once again, if you don't believe that you are powerful enough to override any physical thing with your soul, your vibrational frequency, and your infinite connection to the universe and source, then this channel isn't for you. But if you're with me and you believe that you are powerful enough and you are ready to fight, but fight in the right way, fight from within, understand your power, let go of any external influence, then this channel is for you, and it will continue to resonate because you are aligned with your own highest vibration and intention. And that's all. Love you guys so, so, so much. And I am so grateful for this experience of polarity. Yeah, I really truly am. It definitely brought up a lot of insecurities and fears, but it's beautiful. That's what we're here to do. We're here to navigate polarity, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to share my perspective, even though it may not align with everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday. Keep up the good work, everyone. Sending you all so, so, so much love. Bye for now.